Heather Johnson is our parenting contributor, and when I think of Heather, I think of someone who is always willing to show up for what matters most. Heather deeply cares about parents and families. Heather lives a conviction of family, personally and professionally. It's what she does, it's what she believes in, it's what she's good at, it's what she cares about. And you can't talk to Heather without walking away feeling more equipped and stronger and better.
I just think Heather Johnson is the coolest woman possibly I've ever met. She's bold, she's confident, she's so smart, she practices what she preaches, she gives so much good advice, and then she actually lives it. And just the way she carries herself, I want to be more like Heather. I seriously want to be more like Heather, and she has taught me so much about life, stuff that I'm going to remember forever and ever and ever.
We did a whole audience show based around a single question she was getting from her BYU students, which was, is it even worth it to bring kids into this big, scary world? And I have never seen Heather, lean in more firmly and swiftly toward a question and answer it with a resounding yes. We flew open the studio doors and in front of an entire audience, Heather bore testimony of the power of family, and that yes, that parenting is hard and the world can be scary, but that all you have to do as a parent is love. We have heard it said by so many of you, and we say it around the halls of KSL, everything Heather Johnson says is gold. We wholeheartedly agree with that statement. Her words bring clarity to our minds and peace to our hearts, and we know Heather Johnson is someone we can deeply trust. She has made us all better women, better mothers, better people, and of everything she's shared with us over the years, today she'll deliver the message that matters the most to her. And our rock, Heather Johnson, sat down and before even saying hi, reached for a tissue. That cannot be a good sign.
It's not a good sign. I have two.
I'm gonna have to look over your head, to the right, to the left, anywhere but in the eye.
Yes.
How you doing,
yes.
sister?
Good.
We're both feeling this and the weight of this deeply. And you said before we came into our conversation now, something that I think a lot of people are feeling, which is you don't realize sometimes the weight of something until we're about ready to say goodbye.
Yep.
But here we are. What's on your mind? What's on your heart right now? How are you feeling?
Oh, just
with
that.
Tissues in your
yes,
hand?
with tissues in my hand. Those emotions that you're always trying to control. There's been unbelievable work done here, right here, on this set for a really long time. And it has been an absolute honor to be a part of it. It has been.
We've been able to have conversations. I don't like when people say, no one's talking about it, because everyone's talking about it somewhere. Right. But here we've been able and had the luxury of time and purpose and a brand that sees real women. We've had the luxury of diving into some really important conversations, and you have been our fearless leader in that space for a really long time. How have you grown or changed as a person since your very first appearance on the show?
I think there's been an increase in strength and capacity for me personally. I have come to better understand what helps families tick and function.
Yeah.
I have gained a stronger testimony, if you will, of what family relationships need to look like, and more importantly, what they do for us when we put energy into them. And I think over the course of the last nearly 15 seasons, I have gained personally the courage to speak up and make it really clear that those things are true. And it's been a beautiful space to be able to do that.
It's been a beautiful thing to see. You've always been confident, so let that land nice and solid. But over the last, I would say 3 to 5 years, I have watched that boldness. I've sat here and I've watched you square your shoulders and dig in to tough words sometimes for people to hear, but truth that people need to hear. And I'm proud of you for that, sister. Do you have a favorite topic or an on-air moment that strikes your brain or your heart?
Oh, there are so many. There's too many,
I know.
right? I'm sure you hear that. There's too many. I think one of my very favorites actually of all time will be one we just did about 5 weeks ago, when we tackled in a 2-part series, estrangement in family systems. And we talked specifically about adult children estranging their parents and what that's looked like. We didn't cut any corners. We went straight at it. The words were bold, they were direct, and every one of them, like you said, were true. We're watching estrangement destroy families generationally, and we took it head on. It will be one of my favorites, for sure.
Me too, and it resonated so deeply, I wish there was a better word, with our viewers. The comments are still coming in weeks and weeks later. Comments like, thank you for your recent show on relationships and what is happening today. We are parents and grandparents currently going through this. Several of our friends are going through this. From another Studio 5 viewer, this was one of the best things I've heard. Thank you. Pressing forward, you also loved a conversation we had in 2020 during the pandemic. Remind me of this.
We did, yeah. We talked about being broken, but we talked about it specifically in relation to kintsugi. And kintsugi, if you remember, is when you take something broken like a piece of pottery and you put it back together with gold veining, with some gold lacquer. And I loved that conversation. The beauty in kintsugi and why I loved it so much is because it actually draws attention to the brokenness. And I think often as women, we are so concerned about not ever showing that maybe there's something that's hard or challenging or broken. We see it as such a bad thing instead of realizing that the beauty comes in actually drawing attention to the fact that we can put the energy and effort into growing back together. How beautiful that is. I loved that segment. I loved that idea. I keep it in my head often, that there is so much beauty in those gold veins that then appear as a result of things being hard.
I want to go back and revisit that now, and I will. I will. There's been so many gold moments over the years. I find myself thinking, and this is kind of an off-the-beat question, but can you think of the most unusual place you have stumbled into a topic idea? Because I know you're grabbing from real-life scenarios, and that's what makes these conversations so unique. We're not waiting for parent.com or some headline to tell us what to talk about. You are on the front lines looking for comments like estrangement, like, that are really affecting families on the ground. Where's the most unique place that you've stumbled into a topic that you've turned into a conversation for our show?
Oh, that's a good question. You know what? I think maybe one of the funniest places, there's been a number of topics that have come to mind as a result of hanging out with our kids at the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Which is so silly, but doing some of those things where we're out and about and I'm sitting observing or watching and can see, again, on the ground a struggle as a child is learning to swim. I would say that's probably a unique place where there's a solid handful that have come from situations like that, like sitting at the pool and witnessing and watching.
You're so in tune and you're so in touch that I've almost gotten in trouble a few times, meaning I've had girlfriends who on the side have said this or that, parenting advice, what should I do? And the next day, unbeknownst to me, we're talking about it. My friend's like, hey, that was our private conversation. No, I didn't say anything. Heather's just that on the ball. Speaking of on the ball, you have we sit here and have these thoughtful, moving conversations, right? And you're a powerhouse in that sense. But you're a fun person, and we've talked a lot about family games over the years.
We have, in fact, very first segment, right? I think the very first segment I did here at Studio 5 was some games or activities that help cultivate gratitude for kids. And the idea that or the excitement that's come from being able to bring games now and again. We did it heavy on the front end the first couple years, and we throw them in, dabble with them.
Yeah.
Just again, families spending time together, families doing things together. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what we should do.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of fun to be able to bring those activities in.
I remember strapping a tissue box to my backside with ping pong balls in it and Heather giving me a minute to try to shake. I mean, there's a bond, obviously. There's more than just the fun. But you brought a lot of fun, too. Do you have a favorite behind-the-scenes moment? Cameras off, hallways of KSL?
Behind the scenes are always beautiful because of the relationships that exist behind these cameras. The men and women literally where you don't realize what you're going to end up talking about that day, what you're whispering about in the foyer. I think my very favorite have actually been two specific that you and I have had as we've sat here and waited for cameras to be ready, waited for those things to happen. One in particular, I remember a time where you and I looked at each other and actually talked about what it's like to be a working mom. It was a hard conversation. We got lucky. The cameras, for whatever reason, they weren't rolling fast enough for us that day, and we got some extra time. And to be able to honestly say that sometimes what you expect in life doesn't always show up that way, and yet there's great beauty in it. I also remember a time you and I were talking, again, waiting for something to be ready. And it was the first time I said out loud what my very biggest struggle as a mother was. And that was accepting that we wouldn't have any more kids. The challenges for me haven't been watching a son get married and move out, or kids going to college or going on missions. The challenge for me was accepting that there wouldn't be any more. And that was hard. That behind the scenes moment will always be something I value and cherish.
Me too, sister. And you are in my head all the time. I buckle a baby in a car seat and I hear Heather say, most parenting challenges come when you don't have enough time, and I slow down, right? Or if I'm having that big, important birds and bees talk, you were right there in my corner by my side. And I love you for that and so much more. In conclusion, what is your parenting message to the women who have loved and watched you for so many years?
Yeah, you know, I think, or it feels like we have covered about every topic possible, right? We've gone toilet training back in the day, we've done temper tantrums, we've done preteens and teenagers, we have definitely tackled college, empty nest, married kids, we've done all of that. What we've actually been doing though, is we have been learning to love really well. We have been learning to lead with a lot of wisdom, and we have been learning to live with intention. That's what we've been doing. We have been putting our energy into the things that absolutely matter most. I think what I hope we all remember is that we are the heartbeat of our homes. We are the heartbeat not because we do it right, not because we have it all figured out. We are the heartbeat because we keep showing up. Because day after day, with so much intention, we keep showing up. I think that's what I hope we remember. I hope we remember to continue to draw words in relentless pursuit of that intentionality, that every day we decide who we want to be, what we hope for our families, and that we recognize that any sacrifice we make is worth it. Every single sacrifice we make for those family relationships is worth it. And to know that we are the mothers and the grandmothers that our families need. We have what we need right now. Trust that and enjoy the fact that the sacrifices for the relationships are worth it. Be intentional in it.
Thanks for teaching us to love well, and we love you, Heather. Thank you.